Hey guys, happy Monday. Welcome back from break. Sorry that I can't be there today. We had a death in the family about an hour and a half ago. So it's kind of sudden that I'm not there. But I wanted to go over what you're doing because last time I was not there, you guys didn't do hardly any work. And it's really, really, really important that you don't blow off this assignment because this assignment is your big final grade for the semester. There's no late work for this because the semester will be over. There's no makeup work for this because the semester will be over. And so I really want you guys to do your best. And so I wanted to make this video basically telling you everything that I would be telling you if I was at school today. So on Google Classroom, as you can see on the screen, you have your myth assignment. Now it'll look a little bit different depending on if you're creation or trickster or nature or hero. So it will look a little bit different. But the two basic things that you have are a brainstorming sheet and a rubric. And so that's really what I wanted to go over with you guys right now really quickly. So let's just look at the assignment. So this is what you'll see when you open up the assignment in the rubric. As always, guys, please use the rubric. I don't think you do, and you should. It's what gives you a good grade because you can go through and you can read. Oh, I can't spell exemplary, but that should be exemplary. But you can read how to get a 3 and what exactly you need. Make sure you clearly describe the setting, reveal key attributes of character, establish realistic dialogue. Have a well-organized myth that has a clear exposition, detailed rise in action leading to a suspenseful climax, engaging falling action that clearly resolves and reveals a lesson about life, vivid sensory details, many illustrations, etc., etc., etc. So please come back and look at this rubric and use this rubric. But let's actually look at your actual requirements. So you're going to brainstorm, plan, write, and illustrate. That means with pictures, a myth. The type of myth that you'll write depends on the type of myth that you studied. So for example, if you wrote a trickster, or if you've been reading trickster myths, you are writing trickster myths because after reading 2, you now have 2 really good examples of what should be in a trickster myth. If you did a hero myth, again, you have 2 good examples of what should be in a hero myth, okay? On December 12th, not at midnight December 12th, when you walk in the class on December 12th, you are going to turn in your brainstorming and planning sheet, which we'll talk about in a second, your rough draft, your peer edit, and your illustrated final draft. You're going to turn in all 4 of those things, okay? When you walk in on December 12th. I'm hoping to do, we'll talk about that later. I'm hoping to do something kind of cool that day. I don't know. I think it's cool. You'll probably think it's lame. Whatever. Whoops, sorry. So I'm actually going to skip the ideas part really quick and I'm going to come down to the requirements. And I'm going to read these word for word because I want to really make sure that you know what to do. So you have to have a beginning, middle, and end, obviously. Your myth needs to have a lesson. Myths teach lessons. So your myth needs to have a lesson. The nature and the creation myths and some of the trickster myths. Trickster myths are a little tricky because sometimes they explain a creation and sometimes they don't. But at the very least, nature and creation and maybe a trickster myth should explain the creation of something. If you're writing a nature myth, you have 2 good examples of, the creation of those flowers and then the creation of, I don't know, I'm drawing a blank, but if you're a creation myth, then that's really the creation of the world, but it can be smaller if you need it to be smaller. Your rough draft has to be done by December 3rd so that you can participate in the peer edit on December 4th. And I'm very, very serious about this. If you don't bring a completed rough draft, handwritten, on paper, to class on December 4th, you will not participate in the peer edit. With the personal narrative, I gave you the opportunity to make up the peer edit. We don't have time for that, guys. You have to be getting your stuff done. If you want the grade, you got to be getting your stuff done. You have to be following my timeline. If you don't bring your your rough draft on December 4th ready to go, you won't participate in the peer edit and you will not have the opportunity to make that up. And I need you to be in school that day. If you are absent, unfortunately, it's just one of those assignments that has to be done in class at that time, and you're not going to be able to make up the points for that. So you need to be at school on December 4th, and you need to have your rough draft done. And then the final draft needs both your story and to be illustrated. Now, your rough draft tells your story. If when you're writing the illustrated final draft and you decide to do like a child's pop-up book and you don't use word for word your rough draft, I understand, and that's okay. Because probably a lot of your rough drafts is, describing the setting, but you're making an illustrated myth, so you're going to draw the setting, and that's okay. And so you don't have to have word for word, but the ideas need to be there in the rough draft, because otherwise you're not going to know what you're doing in the final draft. So just kind of keep that in mind. Your story does need to be clear and obvious. I should be able to follow your story with the words that you put in the illustrated version. It needs to be neat, free of spelling errors. Take pride in your work. Turn in the best work that you can turn in. This is your final grade for the semester. This is a big one. So please don't blow it off. Don't turn it in late. Don't do a bad job. Be proud of the work that you turn in to all your classes, all your work. But really be proud of the work that you turn in. Don't turn in something that you're not proud of. All right, let's go back up to the ideas really quickly. Here are some ways you could turn in your illustrated myth. You could code your story. You could create a pop-up book. You could make a comic book, a children's book, a storyboard poster. If you're not sure what that is, Google it or ask me when I get back to work. And then any other idea that you have is absolutely fine as long as you check with me. You guys are more creative than I am, so you could probably think up a better idea than I can. Just run it by me and make sure that it's cool. All right, so let's look at the brainstorming sheet. Now, the brainstorming sheet that I have is the creation one. It is slightly different depending on what myth you're doing. And so I'm not really going to go word for word. I'm just kind of going to show you that you have boxes to fill out here. And if you requested a paper version, hopefully Miss Finks or Miss Craig will have that for you. I've emailed them the list of the names of who gets what. But it is just kind of whether or not they're going to be able to do it. They're busy and it's hard teaching 2 classes. So if you asked for a paper copy and they don't have it for you, you can ask them if they could print it for you. Or you could just simply do it on the Google Doc, or you could even open the Google Doc and then, number 1 and then brainstorm on a piece of paper. So that's up to you. So really these boxes take you through the who, what, where, when, why, how type of brainstorming process. And then after you get all that flushed out, then you come to your story spine. And your story spine, this graphic organizer right here, this is the outline of your myth. This is similar to what we did with the personal narrative when we had the plot diagram. It's like that, it's just in box form. And so you don't actually have to use the words once upon a time or but one day. It's just to get the creative juices flowing. And so you'll have those boxes. The reason this is here is because I know some of you will finish number 6 and be like, I'm done, and then you'll start to write. And I need you to scroll down and complete this story spine. Obviously, if you're doing it on paper, you'll just have the papers. So what do you do? Here's what you do. After you watch this video, you start your brainstorming. If you finish your brainstorming today, awesome, start writing the rough draft. You basically have this week to do the brainstorm and the rough draft. This isn't like last time. Last time, it was every day was a different paragraph. This time, I'm giving you pretty detailed brainstorming, and really you could say that like this part down here is you writing your each paragraph by paragraph, but you are kind of on your own writing this rough draft, as to the extent of like, I'm not going to say, okay, today we're doing the first paragraph. Tomorrow we're doing the second paragraph. I'm not going to do that. This is you now getting the tools from the personal narrative and getting this brainstorming sheet and now sitting down and writing your own. And it has to be done when you walk in the class on Monday. So you cannot waste time today. You need to get your brainstorming started. Your brainstorming should be done today, so that at the very least, if you don't start your rough draft today, you are doing your rough draft tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that's that. As always, there will be a Newsela article posted. It's not posted yet. I'm hoping to get it posted shortly, and then you'll also have Reading Plus, obviously, if you're a Reading Plus kid. I'm hoping to be back tomorrow, but I don't know. So I will keep you posted on Google Classroom about what I'm doing there. Feel free to email me or go on Google Hangouts and send me a message if you have any questions. But just know that I might not be able to answer instantaneously, but it's fine with me if you reach out that way. All right. Hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.